warned the U.S. We have a World War III status update. Trump just approved attack plans to bomb Iran, but he's reportedly waiting to give the final order in hopes that the threat of U.S. involvement will cause Tehran to abandon its nuclear program. Given that Russia and China have already warned the U.S. to back off, a direct strike from our military could escalate this from a regional conflict to a global war. We're already seeing signs of global escalation. The U.S. is evacuating diplomats and building up forces in the region. Russia is moving ships closer to the Mediterranean, and China sent naval vessels to the Gulf. The Iran foreign minister released a statement warning, quote, "If the Americans decide to get involved militarily, we have no choice but to retaliate wherever we find the targets necessary to be acted upon." The supreme leader of Iran also announced they will not surrender and warned that any U.S. military intervention would bring irreparable consequences.
All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Yahweh Kakadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone for pushing 100% truth who rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom. This is Matazat Lacham. I just woke up. I didn't realize what time it was. I got to get ready to go to the plantation and say, yes, Abbaus, no, Abbaus. But anyway, I woke. This is what I woke up to. I'm like, wow, man, this is really happening. Elder Apostle Tahar, he said about 4 or 5 months ago, and I think it was 6 and last year, back in 2024 as well. He said that once the elect are sealed, and that these wars and rumors of wars will continue to exacerbate. They will accelerate. It will be quicker and quicker, all for the elect's sake. So, this is a very good indication to let you know that the elect of the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, have been sealed with his name in their minds, their hearts, and in their foreheads. Those that are called, chosen, and faithful to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai and his holy name, to do the best they can to keep the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of their ability, where faith in Yahweh Shai's blood and the resurrection of Yahweh Shai would cover them in the mistakes that they make in keeping the law that they failed to keep. So, this is clearly an indication, man. I'm like, what the actual fuck? So I'm going to go let biblical scripture where we was just at. Okay, hold on. Let's make a pit stop right quick. Man, I'm so glad this is happening, man. I've been standing up there on them street corners in the snow, in the rain, just whatever. Just doing whatever, trying to warn my people. Y'all are at the end of y'all's rope with, just doing what you want to do. It's time to fucking repent. You think they'll do it? Okay. They ain't gonna do it. They don't want to. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, let's get it. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 29. Well, let's start up some. Right? Yeah. Let's start up some. Oh, wow. Verse 21. Go up against the land of Merathaim. Merathaim. Elder Yashawamba goes into this word Merathaim all the time.
Strong's H 4850. Marah. Marah.
Marah. Marah. Okay, equals double rebellion. Another name for Babylon. Wow. Okay, so the brother was right, man. Man. Hebrew Chaldee Lexicon says repeated rebellion, Merathiam, a symbolic name of Babylon. And this is, I mean, Donald Trump is rebelling against the world order, man. He's rebelling against the Geneva Convention. Okay, let me see. Let's go into some definitions of words. Okay, Geneva Convention, right? The Geneva Conventions are a series of international treaties, primarily the four conventions of 1949, that set standards for humanitarian treatment at war, protecting those not participating in fighting, such as the wounded, prisoners of war, and civilians, and establishing rules against atrocities like torture, unaliving, and inhumane treatment. They form the core of international humanitarian law, supplemented by additional protocols, and are universally ratified by all nations, aiming to limit the barbarity of armed conflict by safeguarding vulnerable individuals and defining obligations for their care and protection. Okay? We all know that that shit doesn't exist for the Amalekite Khazars that call themselves the JOOs, right? And are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. And the only people that attend synagogues, because like I said in my last video, synagogues is a place of worship. And these individuals are into Saturnalia, which is Satan worship. They would rather worship the creature more than the creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. The creator is blessed forever. The creature is simply one of the creations of the creator, blessed forever, whose name is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. These Edomites, boy, they gotta go, man. They're fucking up everything. You know, right? Go up to the land of Merathiam, even against it and against the inhabitants of Pekod. Okay, and Pekod would be in reference to another wicked place. Okay, let's find out what Pekod is. Pekod. What was Pekod? Okay, the land of visitation, a people in the Babylonian army and a tribe in southeast Babylonia bordering Elam, right? The symbolic name for Babylon, right? Office, charge, and officer. Punishment, ooh, an allegorical name of Babylon, right? America, there you go, big as shit. Right? Waste and utterly destroy after them, saith the Lord, and do according to all that I have commanded thee. Verse 22, a sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. Right? NLT. Babylon, the mightiest hammer in all the earth, lies broken and shattered. Babylon is desolate among the nations. And America is going throughout all the earth, fulfilling this particular biblical prophecy, saying that, he's going to attack Mexico. He's going to attack Cuba. He's going to attack, I forgot the name of the other place he said he was going to attack. Okay? Okay, Greenland. That's it. And invade all of these different places. All this is, now I speak as a man. Okay? If you look at the bigger picture, the Israelites are waking up, right? The elect is being sealed, right? With the true name of the Most High. That's the reason why this Slow-Mo Kramer guy, some tech billionaire out of the goddamn clear blue sky, that just basically revealed himself to the entire world, stating that he wants to do away and destroy the First Amendment, right? Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of choice, freedom to petition, freedom to protest, freedom to do whatever, okay? Get rid of all these freedoms in order to shut down the narrative that the Israelites are waking up. They're being sealed with the Holy Spirit of salvation, the Holy Spirit, okay? And in addition to that, they also have to try to control the narrative that They're being revealed. They're waking up. The what was it? Isaiah 25:7. Okay, that they're being uncovered. And verse Isaiah 25:7. And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. Right? And that veil and that covering cast is white privilege, white supremacy, coupled with those Amalekites over there, those converts calling themselves God's chosen people when they're not. They're imposters. See, that veil has been lifted. That covering cast has been destroyed. So these devils are standing upon their feet with great fear. Okay? Like it says in was it I think that was in Job. What was Job? Was it yeah, I think that was in Job 18 if I'm not mistaken. Right, there it is. Job 18 verse 11. Terrors, right? The terror of being revealed, right? Terrors shall make him afraid on every side, right? And shall drive him to his feet. Terrors surround the wicked and trouble them at every step. Okay. See? And that's basically what's going on, man. It's the reason why they're coming out of the fucking woodwork. I never heard of this Slobo Kramer before. Have you? Talking about he wants to do away and control the narrative concerning the First Amendment? Man, get the fuck out of here, man. Who the fuck are you to say anything about anything? Edomite piece of trash. Anyway, going back to Jeremiah. Right, verse 21. A sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? Right? That's in Donald Trump, Agent Orange, the cruel Lord, found in Isaiah 19 verses 2 through, was it 2 through 3? I think it is. 2 and 3 is explaining the characteristics of these Edomite Caucasians, right? That of Esau Edom. See, Esau Edom is the type, like I said before, and I'll go back over here and we'll go over it again. John chapter 10, verse 10. Boom. Right? The thief cometh not before to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have more life, they being the Israelites, those that fear the Lord and spake often one unto another, as it is written in Malachi chapter 3, verse 16. Okay, that fear the Lord and think upon his name. I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly. Right? But my point being, the thief's purpose is to steal, kill, and to destroy. That's the characteristics of an Edomite. Okay? That's bigger than shit. Okay? Jeremiah chapter, right? Where was I at? Yep. Verse 24. I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou wast not where thou art found, and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord. Okay? And the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, because first off, Agent Orange, Nero 47, okay, DJ Donald the Chimp, you know, he actually had the mitigated audacity to convert to Judaism. So he's the first-ish president. So he's doing everything that B.B. Makowalski, a.k.a. Benjamin Nothing Not a Jew, wants. Whatever he wants. Because he, at the end of the day, he also hates Merathiam, the land of double rebellion, the land of Pekod, okay, that an allegorical name of Babylon. Babylon the Great is America. So B.B. Makowalski also hates America. He sees America as a cash cow to use for money, to use for military weaponry, to further their agenda of world domination. Okay? Trying to claim that, they're God's chosen people, right? This is the lie that they've been pushing on everybody on the planet. right? Right. Let me see. The Lord has opened his armory and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord of Yahweh, the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, the power of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. Okay, the land of the Chaldeans. Okay, let's get Chaldeans. The elders say we got to go into the definitions of words so this way that people can understand what the fuck is a Chaldean.
Strong's H3778. Kasdim. Kasdim.
Okay. Chaldeans equals clod breakers, a territory in lower Mesopotamia bordering on the Persian Gulf. The inhabitants of Chaldea living on the lower Euphrates and Tigris. Those persons considered the wisest in the land by extension, right? All right, let's see. Okay, by implication, a Chaldean, an astrologer. Chaldeans, Chaldean, the land of Chaldea, an astrologer. Wow, where did that pop? Yep, let's go get it. It popped right up ahead. Isaiah chapter 47. Where's that at? Boom. All right, let's start at let's start at verse 7. Isaiah chapter 47, verse 7. And thou saidst, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst thou remember the latter end of it. You said, I will reign forever as queen of the world. Ye did not reflect on your actions or think about their consequences. And Donald Trump is not thinking about his actions or his consequences. He does not have an agenda for what he's going to do with the natural resources of Venezuela when which they don't have enough ground forces on the ground of Venezuela right now, telling the entire world that they're going to take over Venezuela. Okay, when you have a standing president who happens to be a woman that has been exercised and has been put in place of Maduro, who was kidnapped, him and his wife, by the United States government. Okay, you just can't go into a sovereign nation and just take their president and take their people. I mean, who the fuck are you? Okay, you're just gonna just do whatever? Okay, so listen to this, you pleasure-loving kingdom, living at ease and feeling secure. You say, I am the only one and there is no other. I will never be a widow or lose my children, right? They're going to have to open up the national draft. Yeah, you're going to lose your children because if you're going to need ground forces in Ukraine, you're going to need ground forces in Taiwan, you're going to need ground forces in Greenland, you're going to need ground forces in Venezuela. Okay? You're going to need these ground forces. So there's going to be hardly no one here. And under Jim Crow Joe Biden, the former president, Jim Crow Joe, okay, he made it to where women have to sign up with the Selective Service so this way they can be drafted as well. You want a job? You got to sign up with the Selective Service. Wow. Okay. So, yeah, making sure that America's emptied out and becoming desolate, like it says in these biblical prophecies, right? Well, both these things will come upon you in a moment, widowhood and the loss of your children. Yes, these calamities will come upon you despite all your witchcraft and magic. You felt secure in your wickedness. No one sees me, you said, but your wisdom and knowledge have led you astray. And you said, I am the only one and there is no other. So disaster will overtake you and you won't be able to charm it away. Calamity will fall upon you and you won't be able to buy your way out. A catastrophe will strike you suddenly, one for which you are not prepared. And America is not prepared, okay, for a thermonuclear detonation within its borders. Okay? Like I said before, I speak as a man. This is the idea that since the Israelites are waking up, they're trying to do this deliberately and purposefully to turn all of the nations against America, not only to fulfill biblical prophecy, okay, because this is the will of the Lord, okay, but also in order to destroy the Israelites who are waking up to the fact that they're the Israelites rehearsing the righteous acts, calling upon the true name of the Most High God in heaven, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Those that fear him, they that fear him, that fear him and call upon his name. You see? That practice the commandments. Right? So, right? Now use your magical charms. Use the spells you have worked all these years. Maybe they will do you some good. Maybe they can make someone afraid of you. Right? And none of these nations are afraid of America anymore. You just heard the Prime Minister of Greenland talking shit about, hey man, you need to stop threatening us about you going to invade, or we're going to come over, or we're going to leave NATO. Once we leave NATO, where's Greenland going to go? BRICS. And they're going to be protected by China and Russia. Gog and Magog. Because China and Russia live on the same continent. They're only divided by a border. That's it. Magog is the land in which Gog sits. Gog is the leader of all of these heathen nations. Ooh, let's go get that one. Where do they come from? Just boom, whole thing. Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, Russia, and China, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back, and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords, right? And China's got between 4.5 and 6 million foot soldiers. That's just foot soldiers. That's shit, man. And everybody knows how to fight. Every last one of them, to the death. Each one of those foot soldiers are trained to die in the line of duty. That means they're going to try to take out as many of their enemy as humanly possible before they're taken down, man. And Donald Trump is not prepared for that type of insurgency coming in all across the border of Florida, from Mar-a-Lago, right? They're not prepared to come across New York City or Washington State or Washington, D.C., okay? Because that's exactly, or the CIA. If they wanted to, they could just come in and invade and just come straight in there, like a month, or they could even use a tactical nuke. Okay, China has a nuclear weapon calling itself 61, whereas on the warhead of this weapon that China just built, they have 60 nuclear warheads and one hydrothermal warhead. Okay? In other words, it's got a Satan 1 or a Satan 2 missile in it, as well as 60 other thermonuclear warheads, all going to 60 major cities. Okay? It's going to bust out 300 miles in diameter from ground zero, destroying every goddamn thing. And then the electromagnetic pulse is going to destroy all of the electronics for eternity. You ain't going to be able to flick a lighter, flick a bic. You're going to have to go back to the old school lighter. Okay? It's all goes back to 1820 something. 1742. Real fucking quick. 92. Okay? Because nothing here is going to work. It ain't going to work. If you want the mailman's going to have to get on a goddamn horse and ride, like I said, the British are coming. That type of shit. And drop mail off a horse. If he can find one left alive. Okay? Anyway, like I said, I speak as a man, but this is what I see. Anyway, Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 5. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya will join you too with all their weapons. Gomer and all its enemies, right? And Gomer's Turkey, will also join you, along with the armies of Beth Targoma, right? From the distant north. And the distant north of Russia is China. Okay? and many others, right now have decided they're going to join BRICS and leave Maritime, the land of double rebellion, and Picard, the least of the flock. Okay. Also, can't forget about them. Those Amalekite Khazars, leave them all alone. If they use that Samson option, Babylon the Great, America, and those Edomite imposters will be destroyed from off the face of the earth. Hell, Iran has got nuclear weapons. He can't wait. The Iranians are pulling Donald Trump's bluff. You saw the video, right? Donald Trump wants to start a war with Iran. The fuck? America doesn't have them as many foot soldiers. They're full of children. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're full of children, but shit, they don't want to fight. You got a boy that wants to be a girl. You got a girl that wants to be a boy. You have a bunch of pregnant women. Okay, you have a bunch of men who are trying to get pregnant that are going through transformations, transhumanism, okay, transgenderism, with all these different surgeries and shit. So how is that going to work? You're going to have a bunch of these weirdos and motherfucking in your military. I mean, these hardened soldiers of the Russians and the Chinese are going to take their asses apart, man. Them motherfuckers going to be hiding behind, oh, they're shooting. It's over, man. You see what I'm saying? Get ready, be prepared. Keep all the armies round about you mobilized and take command of them. Right? A long time from now, you will be called into action. In the distant future, you will swoop down on the land of Israel, which will be enjoying peace after recovering from war and after its people have returned from many lands to the mountains of Israel. You and all your allies, a vast and awesome army, will roll down on them like a storm and cover the land like a cloud. This is what the sovereign Lord says. At that time, evil thoughts will come into your mind and you will devise a wicked scheme. Right? You will say, Israel is an unprotected land filled with unwalled villages. I will march against her and destroy these people who live in such confidence. Okay? So, as I was saying, the Chinese military could come in and do a strategic strike, attacking the CIA building in Langley, Virginia, attacking Washington, motherfucking D.C., and fucking Mar-a-Lago, Florida, and take Donald Trump's ass hostage. Okay? Kidnap his ass. And blow up shit. Okay? That is entirely possible. That is on the table because Donald Trump cannot explain the missing Chinese delegates that were doing business with Venezuela on the day that Venezuela was attacked. There are Chinese high officials very high up on the totem pole in the Chinese military and the Chinese government that were in Venezuela doing business with Venezuela at the time of the attack of the Venezuelan government while Maduro was taken hostage. Since that's the case and they're missing in action or assumed unalived by the United States government's got to give account for that. If these delegates don't return to China within a certain amount of time, China's going to decide to attack America. Okay? I just explained to you what type of nuclear weapons they have. Alrighty? See? So all these things are going to happen and come to pass, okay, in your lifetime, and you're going to actually get an opportunity to see it. Hooray! Okay? Let's get, wars and rumors of war. Boom. All right. Matthew chapter 4. We'll start at verse 5. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Okay? And we're right here at the beginning of it, man. Right? Verse 7. Mark chapter 13, verse 7. And when ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, be ye not troubled, for such things must needs be, but the end shall not be yet. See? Famines and troubles, earthquakes in diverse places, kingdom against kingdom. These are the beginning of sorrows. Okay? And we're at the beginning of sorrows. I think that's what I'll name this video. I think I will. Why not? Okay. Let me see. Let me go get me some more biblical scriptures. Okay. Let's go get, boom. Hold on. Bam. Let's go get second Ezra chapter 13. Where's it at? Second Ezra chapter 13, verse 4. Second Ezra chapter 13, verse 4. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, they all burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. Right? That's a laser beam coming out of the chariot of Yahushua HaMashiach. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the earth to subdue the man that came out of the sea. And the sea of tranquility is outer space. Okay? These individuals that came together from the four winds that came together to subdue the man that came out of the sea is the great multitude of all of the armies of the world that would be fighting against each other at that time. Okay? But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. But I would have seen the regional place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they that were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, yes, durst fight. So when they see Yahushua HaMashiach, the Son of the Most High God, bust through the clouds, like it says in Luke chapter 12, verse 49, I have come to send fire upon the earth, and what will I if it be already kindled? This fire is the fire of adversity, where these devils in war, where they're fighting each other in the battlefield in different fronts on different parts of the earth. Okay? All right. Yahushua going to bust through the clouds right then. Where will I if it be already kindled? The fight is already started. This is what it means. Right? And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fright. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempest. Right? And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that of a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. And when I saw this, I was afraid. Yeah, you should be afraid, motherfucker. Okay? Because, and that's Ezra, second Ezra. That's Ezra seeing the vision that was given to him by Uriel the archangel of the destruction of America by the Son of the Most High, Yahushua HaMashiach, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Let's go to second Ezra, chapter 15, verse 29. Okay. Osalakia. Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 26. For the Lord knoweth all them that sin against him, and therefore delivereth he them unto death and destruction. For now are the plagues come upon the whole earth, and ye shall remain in them, for Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai shall not deliver you, because ye have sinned against him. Behold, an horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Right? Now, you heard the video. Donald Trump wants to come against Iran, right? Okay. Also, the Caramanians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. And the modern day Assyrians, the land of the Assyrians, the modern day Assyrians are the modern day oppressors of that region, who are those imposters that are unaliving and violating the Geneva Convention of destroying the Palestinians. You see? Then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature, and they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them. Right? So after they destroy a portion of the land of the Assyrians, aka the Israeli converts, okay, what they're going to do after that is they're going to try to destroy different lands that have a compact, an agreement, a constitution, right? What do they call a covenant with Merathiam, the land of double rebellion. That's when they're going to conspire to come against all these other different lands that have a covenant with America, right? Then these shall be troubled, bled, and keep silence through their power, and shall flee, right? So they're going to go over there just like they always do. Allahu Akbar, blow some shit up, destroy a whole bunch of people, and run back home, and say, and then come out with their military to fight. Okay, which the Israelis, they have American military and American weapons, but they don't have enough of the soldiers that are willing to fight. I think the Iranians have them outnumbered, because remember, under the regime of Jim Crow Joe Biden, he willingly fled from Afghanistan and left behind all those weapons, helicopters, tanks, and they were all American-made weapons at the U.S. consulate and the military base, with all the bullets and with all the missiles and with all of that. Okay? And they moved it underground to a different location, all those weapons. Okay? Okay? So far underground that those bunker busters don't work. Okay? Anyway. Now, like I said before, I speak as a man, but that's what I see. And, all right. Now, let's go to Isaiah chapter 33, verse 1. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and dealst treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled, and when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they, being the heathen nations, shall deal treacherously with thee. Okay? That's what's going to happen, man. Going straight to a precept in Obadiah chapter 1, verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even unto the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound unto thee. There is none understanding in him. Right? Shall I not say in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom and the understanding out of the mount of Esau? When these bastards took over Venezuela, they didn't have a plan as to what they were going to do next with it. They don't have any ground forces, any foot soldiers on the ground to go in and fight against the people. Okay? The people in Venezuela are not celebrating. Okay? The people of Venezuela are scared to come out of their holes because they don't know if they're going to be shot in the street by American military or the Venezuelan military, under martial law. Okay? They don't know. So the people are scared to death to come outside. What the fuck are they celebrating about? They're being bombed, shot down in the street like a dog for nothing. That same thing is going to come here in Babylon the Great. Okay? Obadiah chapter 1, verse 4. Though, verse 3, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And Donald Trump is proud as fuck. You saw the video at the beginning, right? Okay, talking about he's writing executive orders, okay, that he's going to make an executive memorandum to come against Iran. Iran is ready to pull their fucking bluff at the drop of a hat. I just read to you in 2nd Ezra chapter 13 that they're going to, all of the Arab or Ishmaelite nations are going to come together against Babylon the Great, the land of Merathaim, and the land of the Assyrians. Okay? They're going to do it, man. Obadiah 1:1, the vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent amongst the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. See? And all these nations are rising up against America. Right? Job chapter 20, verse 27. The heaven shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. The increase of his house shall depart, and his goods shall flow away in the day of his wrath. This is the portion of a wicked man from Yahweh, and the heritage appointed unto him by Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. How is it appointed by Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai? Let's go get it. Okay, let's start with Daniel chapter 4, verse 17. Okay? This matter is by the decree of the watchers and by the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men and giveth it to whomsoever he will. This is the portion appointed to a wicked man of the Most High God. The wicked man has been given the earth into his hands. The earth has been given into the hand of the wicked. Job chapter 9, verse 24. And setteth up over it the basest of men. Right? Job 30 and 8. Right? They were the children of fools. Yep, the children of base men. They were viler than the earth. You see what I'm saying? So, going back to Job chapter 24, right, verse 6, they reap everyone his corn in the field, and they gather the vintage of the wicked. They cause the naked to lodge without clothing, that they have no covering in the cold. They are wet with the showers of the mountains, and embrace the rock for a want of shelter. They're constantly being bombarded with violence, right? Bombs. Okay? The wicked heathen that had their part in putting their hands on the apple of the eye of God, and the apple of the eye of the Most High God, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, is his inheritance, his people, the Israelites that have been scattered into all nations. And so all the heathen nations found in Psalm 83, and also in Jeremiah chapter 25, verses 19 through 26. All these heathen nations have had their part in selling a boy for an harlot and a girl for wine that they might drink, as it is written in Joel chapter 3, okay, verse 3. Okay, selling the children of Israel back and forth as a commodity, right, as inventory, in order to build up their nations to what they are today over the last 500 years. Everybody, all of these heathen nations